this is Mad Movie Mark on the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 2013 Chilean Spanish drama, Gloria. Hey, that's not fair. You haven't even seen the review yet. You're already laughing at it. Gloria has a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and a 65% fresh rating from the audience. I'm currently reviewing every movie that has a 100% fresh rating from the critics. This movie stars Paulina Garcia as Gloria and Sergio Hernandez as Rodolfo. Now, Gloria is a 58-year-old woman who has been divorced for 10 years. She has grown children, and she has decided that she is going to go out there, grab the bull by the horns. She's not going to stay at home all day and feel sorry for herself. She's going to go have fun, and she's going to live her life. Now she goes to a disco, and she meets a gentleman named Rodolfo, who is 7 years older than her. He has been recently divorced, and he also has 2 children who are completely reliant on him monetarily. Now, he is a rich person, and his children have decided that instead of getting jobs, they're going to just mooch off of him the rest of their lives, or the rest of his life, I guess. So these 2 lovebirds meet each other, and they start dating, and it's going pretty well. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of feelings between these 2 people. Now, one day, Rodolfo goes to Gloria's house for a dinner, and while he is there, he is introduced to her ex-husband, Gabriel, who is also at this dinner for some reason. Now, she gets a little too drunk, and she starts becoming a little flirtatious with her ex-boyfriend, and Rodolfo gets a call from his daughters, and he just kind of ghosts Gloria without saying anything. He just leaves the party. She can't find him anywhere. She's like completely embarrassed. Her children are like, hey, who is this guy who would just leave you at your party at your family's house when you're introducing him to your family? Now, he calls her, and she confronts him and says, look, I was introducing you to my family, and you just left without saying anything. And he says, well, I mean, look at the position you left me in here. You were with your ex-husband. You 2 were flirting. It wasn't the best situation, so I just got out of there. So she eventually, forgives him, and everything is good to go. Now, they end up going to a trip together at a motel, and he gets a call from his ex-wife, Rodolfo, and the call says that she was in a car accident, and she is hurt badly, and he needs to come down there right away to see her. Now, Gloria gets upset by this, and she says, look, you don't need to go down there. Your daughters are down there. This is your ex-wife. You don't have to worry about it. And she ends up throwing his phone in the soup bowl. Now, this is because every time his daughters or his ex-wife calls him, he answers the phone. It doesn't matter what he's doing. It doesn't matter who he's with. It doesn't matter what kind of situation they're in. If they're in an intimate situation, if they're at dinner, whatever, he just answers the phone right away. So she takes his phone and she sticks it in the soup, and then he ends up leaving again without telling her. And when he leaves her this time, he ends up taking all of her stuff. So he leaves her, and then she gets upset, and she goes out. She has this wild night with someone that she just met, and she ends up on a beach, doesn't know where she's been, doesn't know what happened. And when she goes back to her hotel, she learns that Rodolfo has checked out. He has taken everything, and he has not closed out the room bill yet, so she pretty much owes the money for the room. Now, she calls up, I believe it's her maid that she has, and her maid comes down and brings her everything that she needs, and she ends up paying the bill. And then she decides at this point she's had enough with Rodolfo, and she's not going to speak to him again. He tries to call her multiple times. She doesn't answer the phone. And then, so he took her paintballing at one point for the first time ever. And she ends up taking a paintball gun to his house, and he's out in front of his house with his daughters, and she ends up spraying the wall with a paintball gun, and then she ends up shooting him in the crotch with the paintball gun, while his daughters yell and scream who is this? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? And she ends up driving away, And then there's a wedding that she goes to at the end of the movie where she ends up now she's like a free spirit. She is able to let go. She doesn't have this emotional baggage on her anymore. She realizes that she doesn't need a man, I guess, that she just needs happiness and friends in her life. And of course, at the end of the movie, they play the song Gloria. Now, I was wondering through the whole movie if they were going to play the song. It's a very famous song. I can sing every word of it. And as I was watching the movie, I was singing Gloria. I can't sing, but I was singing the song in my head. And finally, at the end of the movie, they play it. But it's very weird because the lyrics are different than the actual lyrics to the song. Now, the actual lyrics to the song don't really do anything. It doesn't really go with the movie. The lyrics don't go with what she's doing in her life. So it seems like they changed the lyrics at the end of the movie just so that it fits what she's going through, which is very weird. I don't know why they would even use that song if they're just going to change the lyrics. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe there's a different version of this song. This is a version by a gentleman, whereas the original song I know is by a woman. But, I mean, did he cover the song and change the lyrics? I don't know. It bothers me because I really love music, and this is actually a song that I really like. I was bothered that I was anticipating the song through the whole movie, and at the end of it, it's like a completely different song. But anyway, that's the entire movie in a nutshell. I thought that this movie was just okay, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think that you're supposed to really feel for Gloria, that you're supposed to be rooting for her, that you're supposed to be wanting her at the end of the movie to get rid of this guy because he's no good, and to finally be free, and to go off on her own, and to be out of this abusive relationship or whatever. I think that's what you're supposed to feel, but when she is hitting on her ex-husband, when she's flirting with him, I feel badly for Rodolfo. And then when she throws his phone in the soup, yes, of course what he's doing is annoying. Of course he shouldn't be doing that. He should be paying attention to her. Maybe a deeper conversation was needed here between the two of them. Hey, please don't use your phone anymore. This is going to be a big deal. This is going to be a big issue. I take issue with you doing this. But when you put his phone in the soup, I don't know. To me, that's kind of crossing a line that shouldn't be crossed, especially since they are, I don't even know if they're official at this point or if they're just dating. It just rubbed me the wrong way. At the end of the movie, I was okay with her doing the paintball thing because it wasn't really that bad. I mean, sure, he gets shot in the crotch, but that's fine. It'll heal his house, whatever. I really thought she was going to do something more drastic than she actually did. So it was a way of her feeling like she got her revenge, but not really doing anything all that terrible. And then even after she does it, he's calling her and he says, we should be together, we're meant for each other, type of thing. Maybe that's the point where you're supposed to be you're supposed to be on her side and feel for her. But I wasn't on anyone's side in this movie at all. I was happy at the end that she decided to not be in this relationship because they're clearly not right for each other. They're clearly not meant to be with each other. But I think that they both have issues. I think that they both are doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing, and where a conversation is needed, that's not happening. And they're just rushing to judgment, and they're rushing to think. Sure, it probably would bother me if, when I was dating my wife, if her ex-boyfriend was with us somewhere and she was hitting on him. Would I get up and walk out? Probably not. I would just let the evening take its course, and at the end of the evening, I would tell her what I felt. I think that is the better way instead of just ducking out and leaving. So this is obviously a relationship that wasn't meant to be, a relationship that should never have, that should be severed. But I really didn't feel strongly about either one of them. And honestly, this kind of movie has been done before. It's been done better. And the acting performance by Paulina Garcia is really good. She does a really good job in this movie. But to me, it doesn't carry the movie enough. It doesn't bring anything new to the table, in my opinion. It's just a movie that I've seen before that is not as good as some of the ones I've seen before. So it's okay movie. I see why only 65% of the audience favor this movie, like this movie. Usually when you get down to those lower numbers, I tend to agree with the audience over the the reviewers, over the professional reviewers, the critics. But like I said, I just thought this movie was okay. Nothing spectacular, nothing new, in my opinion. And I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I really didn't think it was that great. It's one of those 100% movies from the critics that kind of leaves me scratching my head. I don't know why this movie is so beloved. Now, I'm willing to say that I'm wrong. Like with every review I do, I'm willing to say that I'm wrong if someone wants to tell me why I'm wrong. I'm open to the idea of being wrong. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I didn't catch something. Maybe something went over my head. It's possible. A lot of movies sometimes go over my head. I don't have any professional movie experience. I didn't go to school for film. I'm just a regular person who watches movies. And sometimes things go over our head, so maybe I missed something. So if I did miss something, this is a movie that you've seen before, please let me know what I missed. Please let me know why I'm wrong. Anyway, Gloria, I give it 5 out of 10. The next movie I will be reviewing is actually an interesting movie. It's either called Hilda or I've Never Had a Hilda. And it's so far the only movie I've done where I cannot find it on Wikipedia. Sometimes I like to go back to Wikipedia once I've done my reviews, or I like to look up, different things. And but this movie, I looked it up to see what the Rotten Tomatoes score was, and I see nothing about Wikipedia for this movie. It's actually really hard to find anything because there's also a television series called Hilda as well. When you look up the movie Hilda, like Hilda 2014, you also get the show Hilda 2014. Even if you put in Hilda movie 2014, you get Hilda television show 2014. So it's incredibly difficult for me to find. Anyway, though, I will be reviewing that next. I rented it on YouTube. Thank God YouTube had it to rent. Otherwise, I would have had to skip it. But next up is Hilda. Gloria gets a 5 out of 10. Thank you. Have a great day.